Hello, there we go. Welcome to Rotary. Please be seated. Terry, because we're going to have a few seconds prior to the food being delivered, Terry, if you'd be kind enough, you want to come up and we'll bring Susanna in. Susanna, would you come forward, please? I talked to Terry and he delegated to David, and we all have the pleasure of seeing Susanna. So David, here's the mic for you.
Good afternoon. I think everybody here probably knows Susanna, and she was a member here before, and she's now back. And she is here, you know, to honor her father as much as anything else, and be part of Rotary. Thank you very much for coming back, and it's a pleasure to reintroduce you.
Just a quick announcement. We got the finalization on the Pat Crofton Memorial event, and the realization was about $29,000. We should also be getting some answers momentarily regarding the warehouse aspect of the food share network, because once they got that, then they're rolling. And this is, I'd like to send my sincere thanks to the Rotary Club of Victoria for its support for the Mickey Hyash Award. This award has been giving me the opportunity to travel to Montreal to be a participant in the Canada-wide Science Fair. I will never forget the special opportunity that was given to me, signed Nicholas Frederico. Today, it's my pleasure to have Murray introduce our guest speaker.
President Dan, ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure today to introduce our guest speaker, Colonel retired Ken O'Brien, 38-year career of service in the Canadian Forces and the Royal Canadian Air Force. Ken was commanded at every level, crew, flight, squadron, and wing. Very importantly, in today's context, he was subsequently appointed as the Canadian Defence Advisor in Islamabad, Pakistan, in which capacity he served for more than 4 years. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Colonel Ken O'Brien.
First, I want to say what an honor it is for me to be here to brief the Rotary Club. As every good military officer is to do, we have to put an outline out there of what we're going to talk about. And then I'll talk a little bit about South Asia, then I'll get into Pakistan itself, talk about some of its potential, and more importantly, its challenges, a little bit about its regional relationships, and then why should Canada be really interested in Pakistan. I arrived on the 4th of May 2011 in Pakistan, and for those who remember their history very, very well, that's 2 days after the Osama bin Laden raid. And I do want to say, I'm not an expert, because to be an expert, you have to be there for a very long time. There's a lot of people that think they're experts, having never set foot in the country. I'd like to start off these presentations with a little bit of a map of the region. And this is a very interesting map, because what the folks in Pakistan often told me was, look, you Canadians that are in Afghanistan right now, when your government decides or when the mission's done, you can pick up and leave. We can't leave. We, in this geostrategic sense, or in this geographic sense, we're stuck here. And we've got all of these great neighbors. So I went looking for a really good description of South Asia. And I found this from the Brookings Institute down in the UK. It gives you a little bit of flavor of South Asia. And what I've done, you can bounce forward. So I've thrown together some pretty wordy slides, but what I did was just throw together a few facts about South Asia that kind of give you an idea of the incredible challenges and opportunities that are out there. So South Asia is very rapidly becoming one of, if not the most important regions in the world. Most populous and densely populated. fastest growing economic region in the world in 2015. Dominated by India. India's defense budget was greater than Pakistan's overall government budget in 2014. So a little bit of Pakistan's background. 196 million population, and yet it's dwarfed by its neighbor, India. 96% Muslim, with about 4% others. So instantaneously you can see they're going to have sectarian issues, which they do have, and they also have interfaith Muslim issues because of the huge difference between the Sunnis and the Shias. Since partition in 1947, there have been only very brief periods of civilian government. Army, and then again, in a complete reversal of what we see in many Western democracies, the Army is the highest trusted public institution. The police are the lowest. The Army largely controls foreign and defense policies, specifically with Afghanistan and India. They control the strategic weapons in the country, and they control the political debate. It's a very wordy slide, but fundamentally what it's designed to show is this country has a whole lot of potential out there, but it's got a whole lot of challenges. It's been determined to be the 8th most dangerous country in the world, and more journalists are killed in Pakistan every year than in any other democracy. Health and sanitation infrastructure is very bad, and there's a huge brain drain in the country. Anybody that has resources tries to get their kids out and educate them somewhere else. They're in the nuclear neighborhood. They've got nukes. India's got nukes. Iran may or may not have nukes. And so the opportunity for a nuclear exchange remains probably higher than it does in a lot of other parts of the world. It's a drug transit country. Afghanistan produces some of the best drugs in the world. And to get them to the sea and get them to Africa and over to North America, they run through Pakistan. Second only to Yemen in the world, they have a huge, massive population under 25. A lot of them unemployed, a lot of them angry, a lot of them therefore open to extremist messages. Pakistan is an environmental time bomb. Their rivers are all polluted. They've got, their forests are in tough shape. The pollution is horrendous. China is their salvation. Of course, you know how some of the rest of the world feels about China. So, which way are they aligning themselves? I stuck Russia in there only because Russia is starting to increase its influence in the area after a number of years of being out of the area. After they left Afghanistan, they largely left the region. They're starting to show more interest, particularly militarily. And so when you throw Russia into that mix that I've just shown you, it's an incredibly volatile mix. I open myself for questions. Hopefully that was of some interest to you.
Colonel, I want to thank you on behalf of the Rotary Club for visiting with us today.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's really an honor.
9091953. Great.
Hey.
Oh. Hello, George. Birthdays. Jack McDonald. Yep. Jim Cutt. And Jerry Patch. Steve Wallace is this opportunity to be generous with other people's money.
Well, Colonel, you certainly did set the dress standard for today. I want to thank you very much for that. Sitting beside the Brigadier General, and this head table looks fantastic. And anyone who did not, exempting the women, of course, wear a tie to this meeting, is summarily fined $1. There's only one last fine for the people here, and that is, if you did not buy a 50-50 ticket, $1 coming one way or the other, so I'd suggest you buy a ticket. And next week we'll have the changeover, and anyone who wants to put in a happy buck, and I will certainly put in a happy buck because our president has done such a fantastic job over this last year.
Long to reign.